Cheerful, going. And Kenna, don't come round tonight. About it that you're dead. Now a bad moon on the round. Okay. Back better than ever. A few games. Chill. Videos. Song later. Sheesh. Bum bum ba. Hey, yo, Keanu! Are you so dead set on my socks, bro? What? No, boy. Oh, boy. Yeah, ready? No. Keanu. No. Keanu, hey, stop. No. Keanu.
I recommend skipping.
What the fuck is our team?
And they really like you, it's gonna take to actually make them realize. So a really good example of this, I might make people sound really upset when I say this. I think you're one of the only people I can say this to, okay? Is that like, no, Destin, disappointed you platform, to be honest, but it's your show. No, why do you talk to that horrible person? Oh man. anytime I know I'm going to talk to somebody, I load up their chat like 2 hours first, just so that I can scroll up and see like what they're saying about me before I actually chat. I'm just curious to see what the general consensus is. You're going to get overrun with Destiny chuds. Oh no.
Dicks.
Hello. What's up?
How you go? Are you there?
Yeah. Oh, your mic cut in and out for a sec. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantabulous.
Causing trouble?
Always.
Always.
I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't, right?
I know. Hey. So your tweets.
Yeah.
I mean, the random person's tweets that you've been commenting on.
I just happen to agree with a lot of it. I don't know why. It feels like this person is digging into the recesses of my mind for some of these things, but yeah.
Digging into your mind. Okay, so, look. I don't 100% disagree with you, and I understand the sentiment, and I think that there's some really good points in what this random person on Twitter has said, right?
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. But as with all things on Twitter, also, who the fuck sold me out of my community? Who said that I was... Anyway, tell me later.
Can't give up my sources like that. They'd be burned. But...
So my issues relate to, one, the general thing of Twitter, right? Making it impossible to have a meaningful discussion. So if I were to strawman this tweet from this random person, I would say it sounds a bit victim blamey, like you're putting the responsibility for being sexually abused on women doing literally anything, because anything that is intimate or private that relates to a woman is somehow seen as a sexual invitation. But
do you agree that that's like, given
Yeah.
the thread that I link and everything, that's like a little itsy bit, tiny bit of a stretch, or a little bit of a reach?
100. Well, I just said if I was strawmanning you,
Sure,
that
okay,
would be, yeah.
Australia's New South Wales and Queensland are being devoured by over 1 billion mice. They're nibbling, gnawing, and scratching their way through anything or anyone in their path. Viral social media posts from desperate farmers show floods of mice pouring from hay bales and blanketing the ground in unfathomable numbers. The scurrying rodents decimate crops and destroy stored food, invading silos, sheds, and homes. They're in the cupboard. They're tickling the ivories. They're pooping in your shoes.
I've heard stories from our neighbours and friends how they're lying in bed and a mouse runs across the bed.
I woke up swishing a mouse out of my head.
It's like the plagues of Egypt there.
Sure, individually they might be cute, but these icky mickeys are a menace to the physical and mental health of Australians. A skin-crawling, primordial horror. An old-world pestilence. A literal plague.
Yeah, it's an absolute plague. There's just mice everywhere. There's footage on social media at the moment of basically the ground moving. People will literally tie strings around their trousers if they're walking through mice because they don't want them running up their trouser legs.
Steve Henry is a mouse expert who coordinates rodent control efforts between scientists, businesses, and farmers.
14 grams. Really what we're doing is dealing with an invasive species. The mice we have here probably came to Australia with the very first boats that came.
Mouse plagues have been recorded in Australia as far back as 150 years ago. The house mouse most likely first hitched a ride on British ships in the 18th and 19th centuries. You know, just one colonizer giving a lift to another. A model invader, the house mouse thrives in even the most inhospitable conditions, squirming its way into ecosystems all over the world. But in Australia, whose unique flora and fauna are particularly vulnerable to invasive species, the house mouse has also grown into a serious agricultural pest. In 1993, one bad mouse plague, as seen in this ABC News footage, ended up causing more than $90 million in damage. And while the country sees these booms in population every few years, the current plague is reportedly the worst in a decade.
Often it occurs after a run of dry years, and then conditions become favourable for growing good crops, but those conditions are also favourable for mouse breeding.
House mice can start breeding at around 6 weeks old and birth a litter of 6 to 10 pups every few weeks after that, leading to dramatic, rapid bursts in population growth. In one breeding season, a single pair of mice can multiply into 500.
Yeah.
And all of those mice are hungry. Just ask Guy Roth.
Farms have had stored grain.
Okay, watch that later. In-game. The heck is this guy doing? I'll give you a kill. Oh, he had a shutdown? Fuck, I shut down. Oh. Oh. Oh, 진짜. 나이스. 오, 나이스. He's alive. Playing even worse. No. What the fuck? Go mid, bro.
んだなんてさ口をついて叫んだあの日から変わっていく僕を笑えばいい一人が怖い僕を蹴飛ばして噛みついて息もできなくて騒ぐ頭と腹の奥がぐしゃぐしゃになったって狙いも嫌いも消えてしまうくらいに今は触っていたいな君の心に僕たちはきっといつか遠く離れた太陽にすら手が届いて夜明けの絵を手に入れて笑おうそうやって青く燃える色に染まりおぼろげな街の向こうへ手をつないで走ってゆけるはずだ君と未来を盗み描くひねりのないストーリーを草深だらけ荒くれた日々が削り削られ擦り切れた今が君の言葉で蘇る鮮やかにも現れてくるさなぎのままで眠る魂を食べかけのまま捨てたあの夢をもう一度取り戻もう一度遠くへ行け遠くへ行けと僕の中で誰かがさどうしようもないほど熱烈にいつだって目を離したいしまわないように笑えるそんなヒーローになるための歌さらば掲げろピースサイン転がってくストーリーを君と未来を盗み描くひねりのないストーリーをブラジャーの奥を外す時だけ心の中まで分かった気がした携帯なんて出なくていいいつの間にか時間が止まればいい翌朝君は先に出て行った僕にと鍵残して友達のような街が近づけたただ日が落ちてその木と地下のライブハウス水の冷たくするくせに二人の時を優しくするんだね君は言うあなた犬みたいでいて3番線に悲しい音が流れた曖昧な誓い合いたいが痛いバイバイが聞こえなくなるようにある声に落ちて耳を澄まして君を探して僕は誰かをついに失ってそれでもいいって君をまとって決めてた夏の匂いがした
Bro, it's just solo.
君がいなくなった日々もこのどうしようもないけ誰さも心と体が喧嘩して頼れない僕は寝転んで猫になったんだよな君はいつからと現れてくれ何気ない毎日を君色に染めておくれよ君がもし捨て猫だったらこの腕の中で抱きしめるよ怪我してるならその傷拭うし精一杯のぬくもりをあげる会いたいんだ忘れられない猫になってでも現れてほしいいつか君がふらっと現れて僕はまた幸せで眠れない夏の夜に家をちょっと抜け出して私の坂を下に乗せた羽をこじょうがし入れ歯にサブカルバンドバカ笑いライングルーピー都会のこと同じおもちゃで
There's no damage. 私たちのリアルな漫画はすでに両手に何か Do you have a mic? Of course I have a mic. How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
And obviously mice like grain, and so they cause a lot of damage to that as well. And right now, we're about to start planting wheat, and potentially the mice will eat the germinating seed when it's planted in the ground.
Growing crops like wheat and fava beans, the facility's home to around 200 head of cattle, and now about 2 million mice.
what we need to do is bait to control those mice, and that costs $20 a hectare. And some farmers have spent up to $50,000 to $100,000 on their farms. But not only in the grain, but also the stored hay, which people were saving for the next drought. It's ruined the hay. They've just got in and eaten it or manured all through it and ruined the hay.
Whole shipments of crops like sorghum have been too contaminated with mouse poop to be sold. And contamination doesn't end with crops. Mice carry a number of diseases that can be contracted by humans. In Queensland, there's been at least 78 reports of leptospirosis, a bacterial infection that without treatment can cause kidney failure, meningitis, and respiratory complications. Hospitals in New South Wales have reported patients bitten by mice, and dead mice have been found in water tanks, sparking fears of contaminated drinking water. Meanwhile, grocery stores have seen waves of mice chew through entire inventories, emptying shelves. One local market reported more than $20,000 in mouse-related losses. Surely, you must be thinking, there's something Australians can do about all these mice. Well, there's no simple solution, but there is one technique they've been trying out called killing as many goddamn mice as possible.
We only have one tool to control mice, and that's zinc phosphides coated on grain, spread at 1 kilogram per hectare. And it is a nasty chemical, and it's banned for use in other countries, but the chances of secondary poisoning are quite low.
Bait might be the main government-sanctioned tool for controlling mice, but as seen in this Channel 7 footage of the 1984 plague, where one Malali farmer breaks out a flamethrower, Australians have also been known to get creative.
I thought the best thing to do is eat them. There's 4 beautiful little mice. Just get a nice
What the
close
fuck?
up of that there.
And these days, some locals are turning to homemade solutions.
Everyone's asking, how do you make the trap? Well, it's pretty simple.
A mouse comes along, oh, smells nice, straight off there, plonk, into a bucket of water.
I don't condone any of these ones because some of them are not particularly humane. These are animals, and so we need to be respectful. And so if we're going to be controlling them, we need to be doing it in the most humane way possible. Someone sent the plans for a large vacuum to go around and vacuum up the mice and then incinerate them as they were being vacuumed up, and that's not going to fly.
Traps and poison are fine, but most would assume this notorious mouse predator could handle the job.
There were efforts to release cats, and they take a terrible toll on our native species, unfortunately. So yeah, cats is out. So one of the wonderful things I hear from farmers is I know that the mice are really bad when our pet cats and dogs stop eating them, and they just get sick of it. They'll just sit and watch the mice go by.
Though there is one group of local predators who can't get enough of the mouse plague. Australia is a particularly snaky country. The mouse plague's a regular buffet for slithering reptiles like the western brown snake, which have reportedly been bigger and fatter than usual this year. Though when the mouse gravy train slows down, predators like snakes whose populations boomed will instead start chowing down on Australia's unique and endangered native species, which is bad. And even a bumper crop of chubby snakes isn't nearly enough to curb the short-term mouse tsunami, especially since even death doesn't seem to stop these mice from being a nuisance.
When people start poisoning mice with baits, they go underneath houses and into secluded spaces to die, so the smell of rotting mouse bodies becomes all pervasive.
And the worst part about it in your house is the smell of a dead mouse, and that's what's really getting to people, and that smell has really had a large emotional toll.
That's another one of the factors that sort of becomes psychologically wearing on you. The social impacts of mouse outbreaks are largely unquantified, but significant. And so people living with mice all the time become exhausted by it.
After months of petitioning government agencies to step in, farmers have been given allowance to start using stronger rodenticides. And in May, the New South Wales government announced a $50 million support package to help rural residents fight off the plague.
They don't really worry me, but I don't want them at me. Ah! Jesus! You ran on my leg! Ah!
With planting of winter grain underway, there's a fear that mice will destroy the crop before it even gets growing. Recently, a bout of wet weather slowed the mice down a bit. The plague has plateaued in some areas of the country, though other regions are still seeing spread. Usually, there's eventually a crash. The mice will eat their way through the food supply and begin to starve, even turning on each other. And then one day, they're suddenly just not there.
They do tend to just basically disappear, and farmers just don't know where they've gone.
Right now, the mice are digging deep networks of winter burrows. And if a crash doesn't come soon, a large mouse population could survive the cold. A bad way to start off future growing seasons.
We're going into winter now. We're hoping the mice population might drop in the cold weather, but it's not looking like that at the moment.
This is Richard. Richard is so scared of heights he gets vertigo on escalators. But his wife has always wanted to go skydiving, and today, he is going to face his fear for her.
Quickly. Ah! Switch!
But will she realise it's not actually him?
Watch.
Nowadays, there's like an app for everything, isn't there? I often think like, I wish that somebody else could do this for me. So I came up with an app idea. What if there was like this app where you could order a lookalike of yourself to do things you don't want to do or like wished you could do a better job of?
Optimize your identity.
I put it out online and it went mental. Thousands of people applied to use lookalikes of themselves. So now I'm going all over the place, talking to thousands of people about this dumb app idea that I created in my bedroom.
It enables you to order a lookalike of yourself to go and do something you don't want to do.
And what started out as this dumb idea has gotten like way out of hand, and now I'm having to actually prove that this thing works.
It's my wife's dream to skydive with me, but I'm terrified of heights. Please help. Is that even like possible to find a lookalike that's good enough to fool a what? Like he's been with her for 3 years, it says. Like he's got a baby. He's got a baby. Like maybe the guy's just got one of those faces that is quite generic. Let's see whether we can do it. If it helps, I'm a bit scared of heights. How does it feel like looking down?
Like I'm gonna fall. I can get vertigo, and it can happen on any escalator, and I'm clinging on, I'm swaying.
But Chelsea, so your partner, she doesn't have the same issues?
No, she kind of likes the fear, whereas I kind of think I'm gonna die.
Recently, you guys have had a child, a baby.
Yes. At the moment, all she feels is a complete mom. She's got this amazing, incredible side.
No.
She likes sort of doing things. I feel like she's almost trapped.
What do you think it would mean to Chelsea if you were able somehow to confront your fears for her?
She would be incredibly proud of me, but I don't think she thinks I could ever do anything at a height.
I need to find someone who looks exactly like you.
I'm quite generic, so hopefully...
Where would someone who looks like you hang out?
Any main busy street.
Excuse me. You look kind of like this guy. You do a little bit?
No.
No.
He kind of looks like someone.
Yeah, right?
Box standard 6 out of 10 man, isn't it?
Box standard 6 out of 10, man. That's so hard.
Maybe my friend Max?
Can I, like, call him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he does kind of look like him. How tall are you? Okay. No, he's too short. Excuse me, man. Right, so we're trying to cast someone who looks like this guy for a film.
Yeah, I've got some acting background.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Amazing. One down. Like, it'd be in the next couple of days.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, okay,
The next step was to tell Chelsea, his wife, that she was going to fulfill her childhood dream of skydiving. We needed to come up with a reason why we were filming. So I basically just told Chelsea that we were making a show about millennials overcoming their fears.
This Friday, you guys are gonna skydive together.
Ah, that's insane.
I mean, he can...
Literally insane.
I always said, like, as soon as I turned 18 that I'd do it, but obviously, like, money and then life gets in the way, so it's one of those things I've just always wanted to do but never got round to. How are you feeling? It's kind of your worst nightmare.
Yeah, I feel if I can push myself so that you can do something, just even if it's for a death-defying fall to death, then it's worth it.
That's so sweet. I really hope you can do it for yourself.
Yeah, I've got to. I've got to, I will.
Cheers, everybody, for coming. This is Richard. Richard's a coward. What we're trying to figure out is the person who is going to be able to play him, a nervous man in a particularly nervous situation, well enough that it fools his partner of 3 years. So I feel like powerful, do you?
No.
No, you don't.
You called me a coward.
Go back to back with them. Just gonna measure your heads. Similar sized heads. We need to pick somebody, don't we? Timo, I think that you're way too tall. Then there were 3. One of you will be the person who skydives with his wife.
I don't want to skydive.
You don't want to skydive? Okay.
That's a problem.
Richard, what might you be saying?
I love you, you're awesome, thank you for being my wife. I'll see you on the other side when we're dead.
Can you say I love you?
I love you. I love you.
We need to figure this out.
They both did well. I love you.
Did having a French man say I love you sound like you?
Absolutely not, but then will Chelsea even notice?
We made our decision.
I love you. How do you feel about skydiving on my behalf?
I'm a bit nervous.
What is the layout of the plane? Can they be on the same bench so that she can't
Policy
slide at him?
violations.
I think the idea was we do the swap while...
Huh? What? Copyrighted audio and video. What? You can't watch a video? Try this again. Try this again. What do I do now? Find it.